Welcome to the first episode 0 of Pizza Party. I'm your host, Dakota Lundeen, and
I'm Charlie, the other guy.
And on the show, we're just going to talk about shit that we want to talk about, and we'll figure out what this podcast is really about as we continue to just talk about shit.
It won't be about poop.
It won't literally be about shit. That's right. All right.
So just to start things off, I would like to read an excerpt. Okay, here we go. A flock of crows, 6 or 8, raucously rasping at one another, thrashing into the top of an oak on the edge of the square of sky. The heavenly invasion made his heart race. He looked down at his prick, silently begging it not to be distracted. His mind fought, skidding into crows and woods, babies and Phyllis, and his prick stared back at him with one eye clouded by a single drop of pure seminal yearning. He felt suspended at the top of an arc. Faye leaned back on the blanket, arranging her legs in an M of receptivity. And he knelt between them like the most abject and craven supplicant whoever exposed his bare ass to the eagle eyes of a bunch of crows.
What the fuck is this?
So this book is...
Oh, it's a book.
Yes, it's a book. I think it's called Oola Jolly Wella.
Jolly Wella.
Yeah, it's Literary Review, a magazine that does a literary review, has an award for bad sex scenes in fiction. That was the winner in 2005.
How did you find this?
Reddit.
Okay. Actually, this show is probably going to be Reddit, the podcast.
At least if I choose topics, it will be.
Well, all right. Well, did you see Batman vs. Superman?
No, and I know you didn't either.
Yeah, I didn't either. So immediately everyone was like, it's fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Right?
Like we all saw coming.
And then slowly the supporters come out of the woodworks.
Really?
And yeah.
There's been I didn't get to see a single supporter.
Do you watch Screen Junkies?
No.
They loved it. Pretty much.
Really?
Yeah. They all liked it. I mean, there was obviously some things wrong with it, but they liked it. Eric liked it.
Geiger?
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Well, if he's okay with us using his name, he'll probably end up on the show anyway. He'll end up on the show at some point.
We'll bleep or bloop it.
No.
Okay.
But he said he liked it, and he's a diehard.
He is
fan.
He recommended to me recently, or just now, that I watch that one DC movie where all the characters are different.
The one where Superman lands in Mexico?
Yeah, General Zod is Superman's father, and he lands in Mexico, and Kirk Ingstrom, who is the Man-Bat, is actually vampire Batman.
Yeah.
And it's all cool. Like,
he sent me that text today.
Yeah. And I responded by recommending him a later point of topic in this conversation, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yes.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So now I want to see it.
That movie?
No, Batman vs. Superman, yeah.
I mean, if we want to partake in the devil lettuce and go this weekend, I'm down.
All right. Well, I'm okay with that. I heard there's like a really the coolest scene is Batman only. And he's in like a warehouse, and I guess he's very
lonely.
He's almost like a villain the way it's shot. And that's really cool for a Batman movie to make him, because he's like terrifying.
Doesn't he kind of murder people in this one?
Yes, he definitely murders people, but he's kind of like, it's like sort of the Dark Knight sort of vibe.
It's loosely based on Dark Knight Returns,
yes,
in which he doesn't just kill people, but he does kill one person. No spoilers.
Yeah, spoilies.
I'm not going to spoil that movie, because if anybody hasn't seen Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2, shit's fucking gold.
Yeah, and dark. It's a good turn for Batman.
It's very good.
Speaking of movies, let's talk about a movie we have seen. 10 Cloverfield Lane,
which was so good.
It was good. I expected it to be really not that great.
Yeah, I had like no expectations. It was literally blank for me. I was so uninterested that I didn't even like have the mental energy to form an opinion.
Yeah.
And suddenly Dakota texted me. It was just like, oh, it's pretty good. So I ended up going.
I decided to go see it because of John Goodman and Ramona from Scott Pilgrim. I can't ever remember that actress's name. All right, let's. I thought she was super good in it.
John Goodman was fucking great.
Yeah.
The amount of like subtlety he brought to that, which you have to do when you're portraying a mental illness.
Just the way he would stand near her and just heavily breathe.
It has to be, and it has to be done subtly though, to like do a mental illness believably. Like it's not coming off. It comes off genuinely off-settling, or not any mental illness, but the kind that John Goodman has in this movie, which is fucking terrifying. Yeah. Because he's an absolute sociopath. But anyway, or psychopath. I don't know what the right term is.
I don't know if those are spoilers or not, because that's kind of like expressed in the trailer.
You pick up on that really quickly.
Yeah, there's something off about him.
We'll tag this with spoiler warnings at the beginning, just in case.
Yeah, and to sum it up without any spoilers, is the movie keeps you guessing the whole time. Whether things are as they seem, or if there's maybe more or less going on. And then at the end, you find out something. But anyway, at the end, you're just like, wow, holy shit.
And with me, in my personal, humble, and 100% correct opinion, stories are... for the most part, about their characters and not about their plot, right? With movies and stuff like that, and how those kinds of things develop, and also the attention it pays to pacing.
Pacing's
and
fantastic. Properly
building tension and things like that. And 10 Cloverfield Lane delivers this in spades.
Oh yeah, it's like an exponential. Was that exponential curve or whatever? Like rise in action, where it's just like. It starts out pretty slow, honestly. There was a moment where I was like, if this movie's going to continue like this, I might fall asleep. And then it starts taking off, and it's
so well crafted, because they realized you're at that moment right when they gave you the thing you needed. And you know it was deliberate.
It's fantastic. I really like that movie. So I suggest all you listeners, that probably 3 of you, go check that out. But yeah, anyway, I meant to do these plugs in the introduction. But I'm Dakota Lundeen. You may know me from Today From Yesterday. And this is Charlie Carbiner. You might know him from his pedal company, Zetetic Effects. Do you want to talk about any of your pedals that you have right now?
Well, right now I've just got one. It's the Conjoined Fuzz. It's themed off of the 2 creepy little twins from... The Shining.
Oh, the ones that are holding hands?
Yeah, except I was going to kind of take that imagery and actually make them conjoined twins, but on the artwork, probably.
Oh, but anyway, weird. You should have their arms like twist around each other. Like they're holding hands like that, and they're like twisted. Oh, that'd be gross.
It'd be gross. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be creepy.
Yeah.
But anyway, for anybody who cares, it's 2 fuzzes, a low-end centered and a high-end centered one. Mix them together, get a wall of sound. That's the idea. But anyway... That's about where the pedal company's at. How about your Indiana Jones shit?
Oh, well, I posted the most newsworthy thing about my channel so far is I posted a video to r/conspiracy theories, and they loved it. So I got a lot of thumbs up on that. Got a lot of karma points and whatnot. I don't know, but I'm just having fun with this channel so far.
Yeah, same with the pedals.
But yeah, I'm a graduated history student from FSU, and Charlie is working on his master's
in mechanical engineering.
Yeah, so we're quite the pair. We're quite the duo. We can cover all sorts of topics like pop culture and
great, more pop culture
and more pop culture. Just the things that we like consuming. We are void consumer of pop culture. So anyway, I'm still trying to find a DM for this Dungeons and Dragons game I'm trying to get going.
Yeah.
It's turned out to be quite a task. I'm trying to get together a group of people to come and play Dungeons and Dragons with me. And I've never played before, and all the people that have agreed to play have never played before, and now I cannot find a dungeon master who is willing to take on such a task.
And apparently it's not just something one of us could just pick up the mantle and do.
I mean,
I guess.
It's an investment. of time.
Yeah.
It's a huge investment.
Yeah.
I've been studying up though. I might just decide to DM it and just try as a first timer. Never even played the game before. Who knows how it'll go? But I've been studying. I've been listening to Major Spoilers. Like they have a really popular D&D podcast, and I've been listening to them from the beginning, getting a good feel of it. And Baldur's Gate was on sale on Steam for $5 yesterday, so I bought it and I've been playing that too. Man. So I might as well be a seasoned dungeon master.
Do you remember that really like weird hyperlinear Baldur's Gate game for the PS2? I think it was.
Oh yeah, we played that.
Yeah, we played the shit out of it
together,
and it was like it had no right to be as fun as it was.
It wasn't fun, if I remember. It was just like oddly like. You just kept playing it. It was like when we played Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It's like this is a bad game, but I can't stop.
It's like there's just something compelling me to keep going, and I don't know what it is.
It's like I can't really get into the looter shooters. I get pretty bored with those eventually, but God, all the people I work with right now are obsessed with looter shooters. Either whether it be Destiny or
Borderlands.
Well, none of them are playing Borderlands. No. It's either Destiny or the new one, The Division.
Oh, is that a looter shooter? I don't even know. All I know about that game is that one GIF where it's the map laid out. Oh, I'm sorry, GIF, where it's the map laid out and like he's like walking through it or whatever. Like that's the only one I know.
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of bringing back to Batman vs Superman. A lot of the critics hated it, and then everyone I know who's playing it really likes it. So,
well, that sounds more like the Mad Max game.
Yeah,
all the critics hated it, and everyone else was just like, "No, I'm having fun."
Yeah,
but if you really look at what that game was, it makes sense.
Oh yeah,
where the critics were like, "It didn't do anything new. It's the sandboxiest sandbox to ever be a sandbox.
It literally is a sandbox."
And everyone else is like, well, we like those.
Yeah, so
hooray.
Yeah, and speaking of video games, No Man's Sky. Do you know anything about it?
I know that it's supposedly infinite. I have thoughts on that.
Supposedly. So they have to have server space to save these, right?
I'm wondering exactly how they do it, like if it's procedurally generated. I don't know enough.
From what I heard, I think it was procedurally generated, and they have like a unique algorithm, I guess. This is, unique algorithm that is able to produce
buzzwords.
Extremely different procedurally generated worlds. So it's not just like a world with like these dinosaurs and a world with other of these dinosaurs, you know what I mean?
It's where that would be my concern, where if it's infinite, but then you get drowned in the infinite sameness of everything you find. I keep doing air quotes.
Yeah. Every time we air quote, I will not put any noise in it to signify that. So yeah.
He's averse to work.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of stuff. I got my YouTube channel, I got this, and I got work. But I don't know. It should be fun. What they say is you can spend like the whole time playing on one planet, or you can spend you like there's enough entertainment in all facets of the game is their selling point, I guess, that you could do whatever you want. You can be a miner, you can be like a merchant or a mercenary or a pirate or an explorer, like whatever you want, but it's multiplayer, and that's the cool part.
I mean, in some sense, it sounds like it's like the next step in thought from Elite Dangerous, right?
Elite Dangerous, that came out, right? And it's basically the same idea.
I'm pretty sure Elite Dangerous has been out for a little while.
Yeah, I think
but
it has.
It's much more oriented to the space travel than it is doing stuff on the planets you're traveling between.
Yeah.
You're in a ship and you're doing ship stuff. So you can either be the explorer or the bounty hunter.
And they have those people who are just like jumping to see how far they can keep jumping.
From the minute the game went live, there were people that just chose a direction and went straight.
Yeah.
And they never came back.
Right.
And
that's, I heard about both of these before the games came out. I heard about Elite Dangerous and then No Man's Sky after. And Elite Dangerous is only on the PC, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So No Man's Sky is going to be on the PC and the PlayStation 4.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's. I don't know. The best thing about it is that it's going to be on the PlayStation 4, and I have a lot of friends who have
also have
PlayStation 4s. Yeah.
Well, if the goal is to be like this huge universe that everyone shares, it really should be like cross-platform. If they didn't let the PC players play in the same universe as the PlayStation 4 kids, that would be a bit of a shame, wouldn't it?
I think so. What's an example of a game that has cross-platform?
I don't know if there are any right now offhand. I know I've read something about Sony and Xbox wanting to hook up like that. They want to like touch each other's tips.
I'm gonna do a quick Google search, I guess.
They've decided it's just experimentation. They're only doing it once, and they don't have to label it. It's just,
we're not dedicated to anything. It doesn't mean that every game is going to be cross-platform.
It doesn't mean that we only want to touch each other's tips.
Yeah, it might mean more. If you know what I mean. I don't know. I can't.
To crows.
I really can't find an example.
Yeah, I know it's not really all that precedented, but
I also don't care.
I also can't imagine it being inordinately difficult. I think the big problem is there's just very little market incentive for them to do so.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think of would be that it would just like the community would just blow up. But for a while there, Microsoft's selling point for the Xbox was like, we've got the multiplayer community. We've got all the people who play multiplayer. And that was true because I had Red Dead Redemption for the PlayStation 3 and you had it for the Xbox 360 and I could never find anybody to play online. And there was like billions of people.
There's always somebody to fuck around with in that game.
Exactly. And not just one. It was every like room was full, like the full 16 or whatever, however many people. The
instance would take like
the ridiculous 6 or
Hateful Eight.
The Hateful Eight.
God, I really as soon as I saw the ridiculous 6 on Netflix, I needed to take a shower. It was that.
I watched it.
I didn't watch it.
I watched it.
Just seeing that it existed though, and that it was so shamelessly just a movie called The Hateful Eight. We're just gonna make the ridiculous 6, and it came out before The Hateful Eight did.
Yep, it did. And it was a Netflix original. I mean, it's Adam Sandler.
I refuse to give any kind of patronage to something that has Adam Sandler's name on it.
He just doesn't care anymore.
I don't care that he doesn't care.
I know. I'm just talking about like the way he makes movies now is the reason why they're all set in exotic locations is so he can have a paid vacation. He's literally admitted that in interviews. He doesn't have to put work in. I mean, I think it's shameful as like, someone making, I think if you're making movies, you should try and put like
something into it.
You
should put in at least like, a certain amount of effort.
Where's your pride?
Yeah. And I watched, there's a pretty good series on Comic Book Girl 19's page. The 13 movies you missed in the last decade. And one thing I really liked that she did, and she would like show how little money that like Looper made or that like Tucker and Dale versus Evil made. And then but they're incredibly high Rotten Tomatoes ratings. Yeah. And then she compared that to the amount of money Grown Ups 2 made with its
worst movie ever.
It's whopping 3%.
That's more than it deserves. Way more than it deserves.
Yeah. So fuck Adam Sandler.
Yes,
he's the reason we can't have nice things. And I know this is
no, we still have nice things.
It's a really
we have Tucker and Dale versus Evil. We have we have stuff. We have good things.
A lot of these movies though are like, it's amazing that they get made. They don't make any money, and it decentivizes those studios and those people from ever making that kind of thing again. Like Looper was one of...
No, I think the studios know that those movies are good, and they know that the reason why they didn't make a lot of money was because they were small projects with not a lot of budget for advertising and stuff like that. And not only that, these movies are fantastic, but they have like sort of a niche appeal. They're not blockbusters. And that's the goal of a blockbuster, is just to appeal to as many people as possible. In your trailer, you want as many explosions and like witty one-liners, Or in Batman v Superman's case, you want just
no colors.
Black.
Never any colors.
That's Schneider's fault. That's what he. Did you see One Punch or not? One Punch Man. We should talk about that. I just finished watching that. But anyway, what is it? Sucker Punch. Have you seen that movie?
I have seen Sucker Punch.
That's the same like diluted tones.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I was coming off of the anesthetic from my wisdom teeth watching that movie. Apparently, I watched all of it. I remember like a third of it, and it was insane.
There are like flashbacks and flash. It's like a psychosis in a It's like Inception for crazy people.
I couldn't tell you anything about that movie.
Yeah, and there's not really much to tell. Honestly.
Yeah,
it's kind of a lame movie. But One Punch Man. Oh man. What does that end like? What he says something like in English in that theme song.
I don't know.
I don't remember what it is. But
there's just blue lights on the ceiling, and they're from the microphones.
Oh yeah, Charlie just like stopped talking, just looked at me wide-eyed and started pointing at the ceiling. And my first thought was there was a like giant spider or a monster. We're recording in my garage, by the way. So that was likely, but nope, it's just a light. Charlie is just distracted by a dim blue light. So anyway, One Punch Man, fantastic anime. It knows what it is. It knows what other animes are.
It's the Shaun of the Dead Dojin.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Shonen.
Shonen.
I always mix up the words.
I don't know any of the words. I know manga.
I know
hentai.
Hentai, yeah, hentai's a good one. Tentacles.
Tentacle porn.
Tentacles, yeah. Senpai. I don't even know what senpai
notice
means,
me, senpai. Oh, senpai. I can explain that to you. It is when a person is in a grade above you. They're like your mentor, but also your peer.
Oh.
So notice me, senpai.
So senpai
we're in the same grade, so
is
you're not
your
my
mentor
senpai.
Peer?
They're like usually a grade above you.
Your peer-mentor? Your pentor?
Your pentor.
Your pentor. All right. Yeah. Notice me, pentor.
Notice me. It's like no, that never really happened in Harry Potter.
I don't know.
Should have. They should make an anime Harry Potter. Just completely remake Harry Potter in anime form. Like all the tropes. Like it would make a great anime if it came first. But they released the software that Studio Ghibli does,
they open source
their stuff.
Yeah, that's exciting. And Google also is making free a similar program to Photoshop. But yeah, back to One Punch Man. It's everything I wanted it to be. It just so beautifully makes fun of every trope I hate, acknowledges all of them, but then goes ahead and has these big dramatic, beautifully animated fights and all this drama that you can laugh at so easily because as soon as Saitama shows up, it's bullshit.
Well, let's give a quick like pitch for those who haven't seen it. One Punch Man is it's about a guy who has ultimate power. He is literally the strongest person in the entire world, can beat anybody with one punch. And because of this, he becomes extremely bored with life. He was already started out bored with life, decided to gain all this power, and then continued to be bored with life.
Because he was never challenged.
Yeah. And meanwhile, he exists in a world that you would like an anime world would be, where there's constantly monsters and there's all these like heroes coming out of nowhere who
everybody dies all the time.
All the time. They take themselves extremely seriously, just like an anime like action show would, like having like these long drawn out like exposition dialogues between like monologuing for like 5 minutes. And the best parts of the show are when an enemy starts to monologue and he just obliterates them with one punch and it's like 20 words or less.
or 20 words or less. That was a great part. And PBS Idea Channel, fantastic channel for anyone who doesn't know it. I don't need to plug them, but I'm gonna go ahead.
You can plug whoever you want.
Did a really great episode on it, talking about how like a hero's real job is to entertain and like and to embody these kinds of things. So because Saitama's not heroic, it's never a challenge, and he's a really boring person, nobody gives a fuck about him, even
Yeah.
though he's the most powerful thing in existence.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas you get a Moment Rider who
Yeah.
is absolutely
Fantastic.
useless. Absolutely useless, but
No
everybody
powers except he owns a
adores
bike.
him.
His power is he owns a bike.
Exactly, but everybody adores him because he's noble and heroic, and
He's
he
so
believes
noble.
in how important his deeds is, and he'll ride his bike into certain death and
Just to
try.
Yeah.
and everybody loves him.
Yeah.
Saitama shows up, kills it in one hit, and nobody fucking cares.
Yeah, actually, they in that scene they start shitting on the other heroes who tried to defeat this monster
Because
saying,
Saitama
like,
didn't.
Because One Punch Man, he's like a low. They have these heroes like ranked, and he's a low ranked one. So they see him defeat it in one punch, and they're like, "Wow, these other heroes must have inflated ranks." Instead of assuming that One Punch Man is amazing, and so One Punch Man, this is where his heroship comes from. Is he recognizes that people need this like heroic action from these people. So he's like, oh, thank God that the other heroes weakened them and I could swoop in and steal the glory.
Yeah, that was actually a somewhat surprising like thing for the show to have in it, like this turn where he decides, like very Batman-esque, oh, I'll be the hero they need, not the hero they deserve. I'll go ahead and let them not care about me.
Yeah, let them
And I was
hate
like,
me.
that almost was a little weird to me, honestly. Like,
I really liked it.
I liked it. I'm not saying I didn't, but it took me a second. I was like, that was really unexpected because you expect him just to be doofy the whole time.
He is pretty doofy. But it's like his intelligence is 8 and his wisdom is 20. Like he's borderline illiterate, but he can sense when people, like what people need him to say at what times, you know? And that scene was just fantastic.
It was really good.
And oh man, it just reminded me of another scene, but it's gone now. So fuck it. I can't remember.
All
Never
right.
mind. Yeah.
Anyway. Good etiquette.
Good etiquette.
So I believe we've hit the majority of our talking points. There's one left. Butts.
We like them.
Yep. Anyway.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, that's true.